I want to hear from you. What were some challenges? And I know you did allude to a couple. What were some of the things that you saw that were challenges back then, and you tried to tackle them? But what are some of the ongoing challenges? Is also I'm interested in hearing, because we do know that there are several challenges when it comes to engaging young people on virtual platforms. So maybe Sister Samia, you can get us started with what were some of the challenges you saw earlier, and you did mention some, but more specifically, what are some of the challenges you're still facing today?
Okay. Well, so, across the province, we had different stages of lockdowns and different ways that each province took care of it. And, some provinces had, allowed for people to gather. So we were having, for example, in Alberta, we had mentors who actually were able to have small events that consisted of 10 girls, whereas Ontario families, we had to go totally virtual. So there was a variety of challenges that was kind of like we were facing, and we had to kind of accommodate to each situation or each, as you know, we have chapters all across Canada. So those were some of the things that we had to kind of like put different thinking cap on, and continuously going back to the drawing board on, okay, so now we're in February lockdown where everything was locked down. Then it came, May, June, things started opening up. What can we do now? What can we start meeting in person, right? So there was constantly a challenge of, every other month deciding, can we meet up? Can we not? How do we do this, right? Some of the things that other challenges that we also faced were families that were, didn't have access to multiple computers at home, right? So, and where they cannot attend our virtual program because, they have a sibling who's attending a class, for example. So we had to figure out a way to kind of say, okay, you know what? Virtual is one way, but can we start doing also phone? Can they tap into our conversations through phone lines, right? So we had to think of various ways to still be able to have that reach. Um, some of the other things that we talked about was, taking care of the families. So we also sent out like care packages, or we call it food cards, right? To families that, through conversations, we learned that they were struggling with, maybe not necessarily financially, but they were struggling as a family.
Hmm.
They had some losses in the family. So how do you, be there for people when we can't be there physically, right?
Hmm.
So those were some of the things that we had to take care of. And then there was, July, when everything became, all the virtual program, people didn't want to come in anymore
Hmm.
because it's summer. People want to go
Yes.
out, and there was a little bit of less restrictions at that time. So, what do we do to now? Alhamdulillah, we didn't have a drop in audience because by that time we were just kind of growing our audience. So we
Hmm.
didn't see a huge drop, but I think that a lot of people probably face that I don't want to come into this program
Hmm.
anymore because,
Hmm.
I rather go out and play with my friends or what have you. These are some of the things that we
Interesting.
constantly had to, recalibrate for.
Very nice.